Hello.
Hello.
David's laughing for some reason.
Because we are Cool Rekz, the band of the moment.
This is the first video that we're going to be putting on our channel. I thought it'd be good if we could do a bit of a spotlight on focusing on David today, first of three, and talk a little bit about the album and a few other things, just to get us up and running on YouTube really. So David, if you want to tell us what you do in Cool Rekz.
I play guitar mainly, also other musical bits like the keyboards, the drums, written various pieces like that in the early days, and now the good man here is the bass man, does the bass, writes the bass parts, and we've got Alicia, who's not here with us at the moment, is the drummer, joining us much more recently and now playing drums on our tracks. So yeah, the music, not the lyrics. This is the lyric man. I've not written any lyrics for any of our songs. This is the lyric man, and he inspires it.
Yet. So, tell us about your musical journey, David.
Oh, my musical journey. Yeah. Oh, well, that began many years ago when I was a little lad, and my big brother was a big music buff back when I was a kid in the 70s. He had a big record collection. Music was his thing.
Because he played bass and piano, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a musician, but never really got into any bands.
Because I can remember as a young kid coming round yours and him playing on the bass upstairs, and I thought it was amazing. It just sounded like the room was shaking.
Yeah, he had a big old WEM amplifier, which you don't get them now. They're an old 70s type of amp, huge thing with his bass. My mum and dad hated it and wanted to nearly throw him out for playing it. But he never really got into the stage of being in a band. Because I don't think any of his mates or people he knew were musicians really, and he just but he was mainly a pianist initially, but then got into the bass thing at 17, 18, but that stopped. But that's where I got the musical bug from him really, listening to all his stuff. He was a big prog rock, but then soul and Motown, he loved those as well. They were his two big things. Never was a big fan of punk. I got into punk later. New wave.
What made you decide to pick up the guitar? What made you that? What made that your weapon of choice?
I love guitar music, because in the early 80s I discovered this band U2 that probably nobody really else has heard of, and their music inspired me. And I don't know why I was them. And I did like older stuff like Queen and the Stones, but they weren't really hip in the 80s. And I left school. I was going to do A levels, and I thought that I'd use a lot of my time, but I decided not to do A levels, so I left school and went to work, did some training, but I had a lot of time on my hands, and I thought I need a hobby. So I went and my brother got me a cheap second-hand acoustic battered thing, but you needed hands like a bunch of bananas to play, and I struggled on with that for a few years. And then about 89, I heard this album by the Wonder Stuff called The Eight-Legged Groove Machine. It was pop punk kind of stuff, and that really thought, I want to play that. I love that stuff, and I went out and bought an electric. Being a lefty, of course, that was also tricky at the time, and back in those days you couldn't get nice cheap good quality guitars like you can now, and that's where I started. And from then on, for about 20 years I just faffed around, never really learned to play complete songs until about 7-8 years ago. I decided to, what am I doing with this? So I decided to have a go at doing complete songs throughout, covers obviously, not writing my own. And I took courage to go down a pub and join an acoustic club and just strum along their songs, and just strum along songs there and get me confidence up singing. So yeah, that's where we are. And then obviously this band's come along at our 50th. I started at our 50th, I should say, and that's been the platform to take off and get us going. So that's where I'm at now. That's a very brief idea of my music.
So when you were playing the guitar, did you think I want to be a solo artist, I want to start gigging, or I'd love to be in a band, or did you?
I didn't have the confidence.
Did you think it never really take you that far?
No, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't think I could do it because it was just a hobby. I thought, try and strum it. It was just being able to play riffs and sequence bits of songs. I never really, for many years, like in my 20s and 30s, I'd just pick up a guitar, have a mess around. Like a lot of lads are the same. You don't think of trying to play a complete song through, because I think you've not got any confidence in your singing. You don't think you've got the ability anyway. And it was only about, like I say, about 7-8 years ago, I saw this advert for an open mic in a local shop, And I thought, it just something about it just said to me, you're going to do something with this after all these years. And that's what I did. I went along, I bottled it. I didn't get up on stage and play guitar because I wrongly thought all the people there were going to be just pissed up karaoke idiots, but they weren't. They were shit hot talented people. I thought, I'm just going to look a twat here. So I bottled it. But the guy there running it says, oh, get to an acoustic night where you just sit in a pub and strum songs. I mean, I had played in front of crowds because I'd played in, my late wife was a church goer, and I'd played in that scenario, but it
I
very much
remember
absorbed.
the first time I saw you was at British Shoe Corporation. I worked there at the time, and our mutual friend of ours was doing the compare, and you did Wild Thing, and I think that was quite an apt song. That was an experience.
It was.
It sounded like a Neanderthal had been let loose on the guitar.
Was it that good? It was. I'd leather trousers. I think I'd leather trousers on. It was terrible. And singing, there's the other thing, like I say, it is an art in itself, as we all know who love music, and that's where I need to work hard on, as we all do. But I just never, I don't know why, it was just never the application. I think when sometimes you're in your 20s and 30s, you're doing a lot of other stuff, you're working hard, you've got kids, you don't have the time, and it's kind of strange. Some people can do it in the teens. For me, it was a different thing. I didn't get into doing it till a lot later. But since then, I've met other people that are like that, like good self here, and other people who have not sort of got into doing this till till later in life. And so, yeah, it's been a journey.
I have nothing but admiration for young people getting up and doing this. You think of artists like Matt Johnson, the songs he was writing at 18, 19, 20. You know, the sentiment expressed in those songs are the sentiment you'd expect from a middle-aged man. It's quite incredible. And I had a few people say to me, you know, is this a midlife crisis sort of thing? I can't rule that out. And I definitely know one of the main reasons I started doing it is because I wanted to impress somebody. But I know that I couldn't have done this in my 20s.
No,
absolutely no. Put the family situation to one side, and you're working, struggling to make ends meet, and in even the 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, early noughties, you know, the equipment just wasn't there for you to be able to do it really.
Yeah, you didn't it.
But there's no way I would have had the confidence to have done, to have been in a band, go on stage, play live.
Yeah, I think when you're younger as well, for a lot of people, you've got more other stuff. Like, say, you've got other stuff going on. You know, you're working probably a lot, and you're like, I know it's not all about family, but you're doing other stuff. And unless you're really lucky to have that gift at that early age, I think it's hard. People do it, but I think it's, for me and you, I think it's just how it's been. I think it's just took us getting older to have the application to do it and get it. And like I said, with the technology's helped as well. Because 30 years ago, doing your own home recording was a nightmare. The kit everything was more expensive. You couldn't get the sounds. You know.
I think it's amazing, really, because I never thought I'd be able to do anything at all. It's amazing how it pulls you in. I've been amazed at what I've been able to achieve in a relatively short space of time.
Should be proud. You've done well.
And
really well.
It is an interesting thing. So we got together then just before our 50th birthday, and we did 4 covers at the local British Legion. Surprised the police didn't come and arrest us for crimes against music, but we obviously had a charitable crowd because of the occasion, and we got through it, didn't we?
Did all right.
So
saved the drinking till afterwards.
I know from my point of view, I remember I'd just had that accident where I'd smashed all my front teeth, and so I couldn't sing. But you were performing at a local open mic session, and I remember going there. I remember I can't remember what you played. I think you actually played one of our songs.
Yeah.
I can't remember which song it was. No, it was before that.
Yeah.
I can't remember which song it was now. But I remember you playing it, and the thing that stood out for me was, you know, people were really into it and they really cheered afterwards. And yeah, it wasn't a soprano performance from a vocal point of view, but the guitar work was excellent and people bought into it. And I remember them thinking, I've got to learn an instrument because...
big step, it's a big step.
Because David's there, I thought, yeah, you're there, but you've got the instrument to hide behind your voice. I haven't. If I was stood next to you now, I'd just be singing into a microphone. They'd go, well, he's a guitarist, so we don't expect him to be a brilliant vocalist. But he's a vocalist and he's rubbish. So I thought, I need something to hide behind. And also, I felt I need to contribute here. So at the minute, I'm not contributing. Okay, I'm writing a few lyrics, but I mean, you can't do that. So that was how I got into it. My domestic situation meant that I had a lot of time to throw at it. But I think what surprised us was how quickly, once we started writing songs, how quickly we wrote songs.
I think there were riffs in me to come out. I've been stuck in there for years, just wanting to come out. I'm not saying I had all these riffs in my head at the time, but I just found when you gave me some lyrics.
But your capacity for coming up with riffs, I mean, like we could be tuning up and you'll come up with the riff.
Yeah,
we'll start practicing.
That comes from mucking around on a guitar for years in my 20s and 30s.
Because we got the workings of a new song. And it was but if I think, I mean, our songwriting career only started in January 2019. Well, no, it would have been, I would say probably spring 2019 when we started writing records. And I mean, I didn't contribute on the musical side of things until June of last year.
Yeah, we started playing,
But it's incredible how many songs we've actually written already.
Yeah, got hopefully another album worth.
But, so, we probably had about 40 or 50 songs to choose. We've obviously distilled it down to 10 songs, which we're going to go through in a minute. Did the right 10 songs make it to the album?
Well, we hope so. There was a lot of conversations about that, and looking back, I think there's a school of opinion. A couple of others that are not on the album could be on there, and vice versa. But that was a decision made by our really for us, wasn't it, by Paul? And I think it's good. I think it's the right one. I think it's a good album. It flows nicely. I think it's there. It is. That's the thing. Get that in your record collection, CD collection. Get that. Download it. Stream it. That's the thing. What do you think, Ant?
Releasing on
February. 18th of February. Yeah, that's the album.
Okay, so let's go through the album then. Just talk about each song. The way I looked at it when we started to draw up the track list was, I thought, let's have an album that's broadly representative of our songwriting to date. So from the spring of 2019 through to very early 2020. So you're looking at 18 months maybe.
Yeah.
And I thought if we could have the album with songs along that timeline, and then on the next album we could start fresh, clean slate going forward. And although I think the album is representative of that, it's got songs right from the very beginning, songs after we started to get our musical legs, and a couple of songs that we wrote more or less during the recording of the album. There's just, and obviously you mentioned the two songs that didn't make it. There's one song in particular which is my favourite Cool Rekz track, which just led me to the conclusion I think we've got too many good songs for us to abandon.
Well, yeah, they're on.
The next album.
They'll go on the next album.
But okay, let's go through the album then, 1 through to 10, and try and distill how we wrote them. I mean, the majority of the songs on the album are musically more or less, to a large extent, written by you with very little input from me.
Apart from the lyrics.
But I'm talking about music.
Yeah.
Lyrically, yes, okay. So, Girls, I think Girls, it's the first track on the album, I think that's probably our first...
Yeah, our first
song we wrote.
First main one, yeah.
wasn't a very popular song amongst our audience of one, our best friend. He didn't like the sentiments expressed in the song. It's a song about not being able to get the attention of a woman or women.
Yeah.
And he thought that was the wrong signal to be sending out. But I think we're past the stage of trying to pass ourselves off as Adonises.
But isn't that the sentiment that probably every man on this planet has felt at some point in his life?
Certainly my experience.
Every man. And it was written. I think it was written by our 18-year-old selves in 50-something bodies. Because it's that sentiment, wasn't it, about going to clubs in our young days and.
But can you remember how you came up with the riff? Because I remember giving you the lyrics, and all of a sudden you literally just started strumming.
I don't know. I can't remember it now. It was something like it's this, isn't it? It's. I think I was just doing it. Something like that, I think. And then
I
just
remember
developed.
hearing it, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, that sounds so cool. I want to be in a band with a guy playing that, because that's going to make people really like me. I think I'm really cool. And I thought, I'm just going to ride on your coattail. And, you know, you do the strumming and I'll do the pulling.
That's all I do. I'm not a whiz kid like, so I'm not doing all that all the time. There's none of that. It's chords.
This was the second song I learnt on the bass. It's your bass line, and all my favourite bass lines are written by you. It's like a meal. It's always nice if somebody else has cooked them for you. So let's just do the opening bit of Girls then, very quickly, because we've got 10 to get through. So we can't.
Bit of girls.
I think that's a great track to start the album with. Luckily our producer agreed. I just think that's our Sue Station off of Acton Baby, especially as far as the bass goes. I mean, I love the opening to Sue Station. Forget the opening bit.
I don't know the guitar bit at all.
But, great opening track. Really like it. I like it because singing and playing presents a challenge in itself. And when you're learning to sing, learning to play the bass, and trying to do them both at the same time, it's not particularly easy. But I think that song just flows when we play it.
I think you've done well, Andy, because you're learning to sing and play at the same time. Whereas for years, singing was never something I just never did, really at all. It was just playing for me. I never thought of singing, and the singing and playing's only, like say, relatively recently, say 6-7 years. Maybe it was I started going into a pub and doing the acoustic thing. Because when I played in churches, there was no singing there. You were just like, here's a song you'd be given on the Thursday night. You didn't know it, you had no idea, and you just try and practice through, and then you try and play it on a Sunday. We noticed you weren't singing, it was just, you were focusing on everything on that. It was only basic, just a few chords. But anyway, I digress. Singing and playing's new for me as well, really, relatively new. And you've picked it up really quickly, really well, you know, so.
Track 2 is the album title track, The World's Gone Mad.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a story behind this, really, because originally our album was going to be called Born and Raised, which I thought was a great title for a track. But we couldn't get Born and Raised working properly because there's a big change up between the verse and the chorus. I think it's an excellent song, which we should now be able to solve because Alyssa's here and she can come up with a drum pattern for us, because that was the real issue. We couldn't come up with a drum pattern because in effect you need two different drum patterns for the verse and the chorus. Anyway, I think we were overtaken by events. I wrote The World's Gone Mad because I was just, even more so now, but even back then, when, I mean, I think I wrote this in June of 2020, so it's 18 months old. But I just genuinely thought the world is going mad. Just the way how we've reacted to this health problem, the intolerance and overreaction of some people to other people's opinions, the intolerance, the things you're getting accused of, and you know, a very simple song, but really how we played it for quite a while. Just this clean bass sound, really, just with a little bit of reverb and delay on it. But then one day, I don't remember. I think I sent it, didn't I?
Yeah.
I bought a mono synth pedal. Because if you're going to try and write songs on the bass, it is effectively a rhythm instrument, isn't it? And it's kind of different. I just felt I needed to, I needed to make it a little more interesting. And I was messing about one day with this new pedal, and I just tried a few songs and it sounded a bit weird. But luckily, it's happened with a couple of songs really, I just happened to have all the pedals in some sort of order, and I played the notes to it. What I liked was it sounded like I was playing the lead guitar.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Sounded like I was like rocking a Strat or a.
I think that's what helps us.
Les Paul.
Because there's only me on 6-string guitar, it helps you doing sounds like that. Because I always think bands, a lot of bands, not all bands, but work well with two guitarists, and we haven't got that luxury. And I think sometimes it's nice to have another guitarist, as in yourself, doing those kind of sounds. So
I think there's a bit of a role reversal in that song, though, isn't it? Because I sound like I'm playing the lead guitar. You sound like you're playing. I don't know.
Well, I'm just doing it's just a rhythm guitar, basic rhythm guitar. It's just when this thing switches on again, it's just a basic rhythm, 2 chords really. It's just. And hammered on as well.
To me, it's got a 50s sound to it. I love the sound of a 50s rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
60s rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. And the Wildwire you play.
Yeah. Right.
But it's funny how quickly sometimes a song comes together. It's just...
Yeah, because didn't we start with this as... we started this like a kind of a slower tempo thing, didn't it?
And it was just with a clean bass on it, and it was okay, and we played it like that for a while, didn't we?
Yeah.
But like I say, and then when I got the mono synth pedal, it just
seemed to change. Yeah, I seem to remember that song started. We would try. It was a lot slower. It was like World's Gone Mad. It was very. If I remember, I can't remember the early inclinations of it because I'm so used to what we know and love now. But yeah, it's come on really well.
Okay. Track 3 on the album.
Yeah.
Ghost Train. Me again. Which I thought about this. When I thought about doing this interview, I thought, what am I going to say about Ghost Train? Because I can't really remember. I was just really messing about on the guitar, on the bass.
That's one of the chords for it.
I wrote the lyrics first, which for me I think is probably the more difficult. It's a lot easier to wrap lyrics around chords than it is to wrap chords around lyrics. So I had to change some of the lyrics, but I like in songs, I like to try and create a metaphor. U2 did it with Vertigo. Vertigo was a nightclub, but he was likening the situation in a nightclub to how he was feeling, out of place and a bit disorientated and feeling as if he was going to fall over. And I like the idea of creating metaphors in songs. It's done quite a lot, but I just envisaged Ghost Train, being on a ghost train hurtling towards an impending doom, which people that drink too much, which is what the song's about, inevitably do. So what I think about one of your strengths is when you write a song, if I write some lyrics, you say what sort of vibe you're going. Whatever mood I give you, you can come up with a mood, which we'll discuss on some of the other songs coming up. And I was thinking, well, it's got to be something a bit foreboding. And I don't know how I came up with it, but just again, it's very simple.
I just went.
But again, that song came together incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
I can remember writing it and then just putting it to one side. I think I wrote this song in would have been about the same time as The World's Gone Mad, I think. Probably summer of 2020. Put it to one side and then sort of picked it up again after we'd started recording the album. And I think that the reason why was because I knew that we weren't going to be able to put Born and Raised on the album. And that left us a song light. And although we had plenty to fall back on, I said, well, let's try this one. Because Born and Raised was a song that I'd written, and I thought, well, that's one of the few songs that's going to be on this album that's I originated, which ultimately isn't a problem, but so I just thought I'd try and get it on there. And again, your interpretation of the track was spot on.
It's a scary feel, isn't it? It's kind of edgy.
It's probably the least interfered with track as far as production's concerned on the album, which hopefully is a feather in the cap because the producer thought, well, that sounds all right.
Mr. Roberts, our producer, we should have. Mr. Roberts.
But
the legendary Paul.
Yeah, it's a good song. I think most people at some point in their lives will be touched by some form of addiction, and I think it hits the right spot. Track 4 is Stuff in Your Books.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Now this is an interesting song.
We need a capo for that. Bear with me. That's this little device. It clips on the guitar
Now,
here.
Stuff in Your Books. Such as we have it, that song's developing a bit of a cult following. It's your favourite track, more or less.
One of my favourite, yeah, I like it.
Alyssa's
It's fun to
favourite
play.
track, our drummer. It's our producer's favourite track. I think he called it 3 minutes of pure rock, pure punk rock.
Yeah. As I always say,
Two of our close friends, it's their favourite track.
I always call it, I'll get in there, kick 'em in the knackers and get out again song. It's like, you know, the equivalent, I don't know, don't sound too pretentious, of New Rose by the Damned, White Riot, Clash. It's a fast, get that message there and get out, you know.
I don't hate the song, and it's growing on me, but it's one of my least favourite songs. What is it that everybody else, including you, sees?
Catchy. I think it's catchy.
But I don't.
It's catchy. It's got that punky, catchy feel. It's not I wouldn't say it's, you know, it's not up there. Well, I don't know, but it's our tribute, I think, to those kind of songs like New Rose and Pretty Vacant. The quick.
It is
White
in that
Riot, Clash,
vein,
as I've
because in
said.
terms of our songs, perhaps Born and Raised, which obviously isn't seeing the light of day at the moment, that's the only other song I can think of with as many lyrics in the song as Stuff in Your Books as well. It's got about
it's
6
quite
verses.
lyrically crowded. Yeah.
It barely breaks the 3 minute
No,
mark.
I know, because it's
And
quick.
we repeat one of the verses at the end
Let's get it over real
to
quickly.
get it over that 3 minute
Yeah.
period. I don't know why, and I'm averse to really writing songs that only last for 2.5
No,
minutes.
no. Well, yeah, it's like a more modern. Well, I say modern, not that modern now, but another one that springs to mind is Song 2, Blur. That vein of the 2.5 minute, 3 minute quick. That's what I love. Song 2 by Blur, because it was when it came out in the mid-90s. There was nothing around like that. That kind of song had been dead for a couple of decades. And then it came out, and I love that. But should we do a bit of Stuff in Your Books?
Yeah, let's just do the first verse and chorus.
Okay.
So again, it's
Do you want to bring it in?
Yeah. It's a bass line that you wrote for me.
Right.
One of my favourites, I have to say.
Here we go.
But here we go.
There you go. And that's it.
Yeah, it's an anti-organised religion song. I've always been anti-organised religion. Don't want to get too political, but
Religious.
but religion is politics.
Yeah, it
politics
is.
is
Politics
religion.
is religion.
But it's a rant. I think subliminally I might have been influenced by XTC's Dear God, which is an excellent track. I think Andy Partridge encapsulates what's wrong with religion in that song's 3 minutes more than I do in our song's 3 minutes. But who knows? But yeah, say be interesting whether hopefully with a wider audience, where they place stuff in your
Could be
books
a
in the
single.
pantheon of tracks.
Could have been a good single.
Well, yeah, I know you wanted to release it as a single, I don't know. Putting my commercial hat on, I don't think it was
But in
right.
this day and age of downloading everything, they can all be singles. You know.
So, we close the first half of the album out then with a track called Luxor.
Yes.
Um,
yes.
I was inspired lyrically by Luxor for my love for Egypt and the town of Luxor.
This is one of our very early songs, isn't it?
Again, this is one of our early songs.
Yeah.
Again, I had nothing to do with it musically, at least initially, but like quite a few of our songs, it's gone through quite a lot of incarnations. It just started off as a simple guitar thing. I think the only thing I brought to it, again, you wrote the bass line for it. I messed about with the effects.
There wasn't a bass line for it for a long time, was it? It was
No,
just chords,
it was.
just guitar chords.
Right at the last minute, really.
Yeah, we just
The story around it was my mother was close to death, and I just thought it'd been nice if we could have played it to her before she passed on, because she loved Egypt. I don't think she was too impressed with a lot of the noise that was coming out of the other room when we were practicing. Unfortunately, she didn't get to hear it. But I think the only thing I brought to it was the effect. I can remember sending you, David, some tapes of Egyptian music to try and give you a vibe as to, you know, some songs it doesn't matter, but I think when you're writing a song about a place, it needs to reflect, or you need to try and reflect it.
Yeah.
I think Luxor does do that excellently. So we
Just strum a bit of it then.
strum a bit of it.
Yeah, okay.
I might try and sing a bit of it as well.
Okay. Do you want me to take it off?
Yeah,
Start
we'll take
okay.
it off. Tide streets and the stones, coffee shops and t-shirt bars, dudes and smelling for such is the plan of half the time. Luxor, Luxor, let go. Luxor, Luxor, never to go. Luxor, Luxor, let go. Luxor, Luxor, never to go. Luxor, Luxor. Oh. I'm coming down with a cold, by the way.
Not COVID.
No, it's not COVID. It's not COVID.
No.
But again, I close my eyes and listen to that music, and it does take me back. I play this on another bass actually, which makes it sound a little easier. I'm the only person on the planet that can't play a guitar very well sat down. I'm just.
I think it's a song we should throw to the Egypt Tourist Board to use to promote the
Well,
country.
you never know.
I think we
You
should
never
approach
know.
them with it and say, we've written this song, would you like it?
It's a bit of a black sheep off the album, I think, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It's a lot more mellow, but again, I think it hits the right notes, and I love performing it. I really do.
Good song.
I think it just sounds really good when we're playing it. So can't wait to get out there and play that for people.
My pub acoustic group like that when I've strummed it in the past as well. It's a good song. It's that kind of style of song you can do it on the acoustic.
But again, just such a simple bass line, but it just.
Nice.
But yeah, I really like it. track 6, I Need a Girl.
Oh yes, yes.
Again, nothing to do with me musically.
Well, you did. You had the lyrics, and I remember one
well,
night.
yeah, but
It was a bit strange start. We were trying to do a fast 3-chord punky thing with it, and I couldn't get that going. We were trying to do another Stuff in Your Books, and I couldn't get it going. Then I went home, and I was on my own at home, and I couldn't get to sleep. It was about 2 in the morning. I got up, went into my spare room.
Was it on a school night?
Well, them days are long gone. It was after I'd been round here one night, and I was trying. I don't know why. I couldn't get sleep, and I got these song in there.
School night, as in you got to go work.
Oh yeah. And I got up. I thought, I don't know why. And I went to my 8-track, and it's got all drum loops on there, and I don't know. I've no idea why. I found these 3 drum loops. I thought, let's just do the complete opposite of the 3-minute, 2-minute punk thing, and I found these. I don't know why. And then I just thought, what sounds good over that? And I thought, a real chugging, moody bass line. And I didn't think of using the 6 string. I just come up with that, and this dun 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 dun. And I don't know why. I thought, let's go the opposite way. Let's slow it right down.
Well, I said it should be sexy and raunchy.
Yeah, a bit seedy almost, wasn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
But I mean, it's my second favourite bass line. Just amazing.
It just came from there.
And the amazing thing is, it's the only it's the only bit of music that my son was taken by. He came and said, I think that's really good. And he asked me to play it in, and I was made up, so I was playing it in. He actually asked me to send it to him so he could send it to his mates, which was, but again, it's just, I think it really makes a song.
Demo version of it.
Yeah,
yeah, it's really odd how I come up with that.
my sister heard it and she said it was very hot chocolate. I'm not sure.
No, I don't get that one. No, I couldn't see Errol Brown has been singing that somehow. I don't know. I think, you know where I think she's
coming from. I get where she's coming from, actually.
I think, you know where I think she's coming from. Yeah, but everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
Do a little bit.
Yeah,
The bass is, the sound of the bass.
So I don't think that was a bad chord.
No, now you've mentioned it, yeah.
But,
very strange.
and again, it's a great track to play live. And hopefully I'm stood up and I'm not tripping over myself because that sounded awful. There's a few more effects that are plugged in to make it a little bit more growly.
Yeah,
but,
which we can't do for the purposes of this interview.
But no, another great track musically that you wrote there, David.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So that's track 6. Track 7 is Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Crazy is a strange one because we recorded that a long time ago. I think, again, that's probably going back to May of 2020.
Well, I think it's probably our first real good, top produced song, isn't it? Paul did for us, didn't he? We put it to him and he polished it.
By this stage, I'd bought the equipment to start recording us. Because as far as I was concerned, I wanted to put a record out. You know, a lot of bands just want to go out and play gigs, which we haven't been able to do. I know we're coming under some pressure to do that now from certain people within our sphere of influence. You should have done it by now and all the
Yeah.
rest of it.
Good
But-
things take time.
But it is what it is. So we recorded this, and again, you came up with a simple drum loop, which worked, a couple of guitars, and I don't know why, but it sounded excellent right from the get-go. It really did, and it's very sparse lyrically. It's it doesn't.
It's not trying to be too deep,
No,
is it?
it's 2 or 3 verses, very simple. Tells a story of somebody who's having to deal with someone who's a little psychotic.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys.
And that wasn't
No.
Radio 1, was it?
Sadly not. No, it's
Oh.
Radio 2.
Okay. Do you need to take it?
No.
And it's again. I gave the lyrics to David. Said this is a bit foreboding, a bit distressing, and again he captures the mood of the song perfectly. It was the first interaction we had with Paul Roberts in terms of production. My singing wasn't brilliant, flat, and he said, send me the vocals. Well, send me the song, he says, and I'll do something on the vocals. And he cleaned up the vocals, and it was amazing. And that really was where it sat.
He did a really good job on it, didn't he?
Towards the end of the album, I said, look, we've got 2 or 3 songs here which you've seen before, but a long time ago. I think they're okay. You don't have to worry about them. And he said, no, I want to produce the whole album. There's, so he had them back and he tidied them up. But again, I think it's an excellent song. I think it's a difficult song for us to play live, and we've still got to work out how we do that.
This is
It's the one track on the album which I think we do need to play live, because it's one of the best tracks. And we need to learn it, but we haven't so far. But it's a good track. I don't know whether you want to add any more, David. Do you remember how you came up with it?
No, it was.
Sometimes it's literally just messing about up and down the
just
fretboard,
based around
isn't it?
this kind of riff. Those 2 chords. Just bar chord. And then the addition. And then that's just, and that's it really. But it's it's just
Amazing,
that's really all. It's
amazing.
just a couple of chords. There's a lot more to than that.
Fantastic.
This is just the purposes of sitting here, just showing you the bare bones of it.
I
But
think it's fantastic.
thank you, thanks. Yeah, it's and that's the one we need to practice really, like, because I think it's, to give it justice live is a bit of a job in a way, isn't it? I think it's very the thing with us just sitting here now with 2 guitars. We're not giving you the drums. The drums is a big thing of that song. That drum loop, which we play over the top of it. Obviously, we haven't got that set up at the minute, so that is a big thing, and this is going to do that. But I think,
This sounded so good. The bass on this is actually David's bass. It's not my bass. I didn't want to interfere with it because it just sounded so perfect. I thought I'll have fun trying to match that live, but I don't want to interfere with the recorded version of that because it's too good. So,
but we're thinking of ways of doing it live, just slightly varying it so it's a bit more easy to do live. Like a lot of bands have this issue, don't they? They record a great song, and then when they come to play in front of an audience, given the limitations you have there, I think, you have to think of different ways of doing stuff sometimes. Not every song is like that, but quite a few. And this is one of them cases, I think. I think when bands use like orchestras on tracks and different stuff. When you're in that little live club, you can't bring an orchestra. I know we haven't got an orchestra, but you can't bring that into a club or a bar. So you've got to think of a way of doing it, and that's where you have to alter stuff radically. Which is what I love about live music is, I've said this to my friends a lot. I don't go out to see a band live to hear what's on a CD. I want to hear how they do it differently. Sometimes usually more raw and edgy. There's countless bands I've gone to see who I was a bit like that with their actual recorded music, and I've seen them live and it's really excited me, and I think they've been really good, and that's one of the great things of live music. That's why I think it is better. But anyway, that's me waffling on. I'll shut up. Let's get on with the album.
Okay, so track 8 then is CFS.
Ah, yeah, this one, yeah.
Again, David came up with all the music for this.
Yeah, you gave me the chords,
Yeah,
and
amazing.
I kind of, yeah, it was.
Again, it's a very straightforward song. It's a song about being let down, betrayed, being played around with. It's a very common subject matter for a song. But again, I said it was an angry song, and I can remember playing it to my daughter, and she said very John Lydon, and I think you said that independently as well.
There's a bit of
and that's the
anger.
kind of attitude
an
I
angry
try
song.
to put on there.
It's an angry song.
But the funny thing about this song, although it's an aggressive song and an angry song, we do an acoustic version of that, which is great. Are you able to play the acoustic?
Well, basically, I don't know. You gave me the lyrics. I think it was a Friday or Saturday night. I was sat at home and wrote it, but it took me a while to think something that fit in, and for some reason I just started sliding a G-shaped chord up and down the neck like this. And I thought, well, that sounds alright. So, okay. And then just don't know why, it just seemed to work, and then the chorus, I thought, you can't keep doing that for the chorus. I thought, C, do something in C. And what goes off to C? It's in a D minor.
It's in the first verse and chorus then, or I'll attempt to sing it.
Okay then, right.
It's difficult to sing the acoustic version because I'm growling and shouting this song
right.
normally, but we'll have a go.
We'll have a go, okay, so it's...
You scratch my back and I'll stab yours. Keep open all yours, I'll close my doors. Cheap bacon shallow, cheap bacon shallow, cheap bacon shallow, poison down.
And that was it.
We have a nice Wildwire section.
Yeah.
It's been interpreted by our producer differently to the way we interpreted it. But Paul's quite experienced musically.
Yeah.
We've largely been guided by him on this album. He's taught us a lot. We're forever indebted to him. We owe him a lot.
Together, really.
I just hope that the album gets a bit of traction for his benefit more than anybody else. Again, you do most of the music on there. I didn't want to interfere with it because I thought it just sounded so good. So, good track. It didn't take too long to come up with. Once I got there, it was strange. It's what a lot when you do a lot of songs. You seem to it takes an hours and hours to start, and you hit something and bang, it all comes out. It's not you can be strumming about for ages, and suddenly when it clicks, and one thing goes on for the other. Okay, track 9 was our second single. No, it wasn't. It was our third single, World's Gone Mad was the first, Girls was the second, Mr. Positive was the third.
Yeah.
On this album, it's my favourite track. Again, I came across an old video on our Facebook page. It's still there of you singing this. I'm just gonna. And this song didn't change that much, but I think what helped us with this song was me trying the Wildwire on the bass.
Yeah.
Again, we did it clean for a while, and it sounded. Let's play it clean, and then we'll add the Wildwire bass. Just give them.
Yeah.
So just do the verse and the chorus.
I'll just turn this guitar down a bit.
The song's inspired by our friend.
Yeah. Our friend. Yeah. Shall I do
He
it?
always thinks the sky's the limit.
Right.
And,
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I keep sliding off this. So that's without the Wildwire.
You come up with this squidgy, I call it, squidgy bass line that gives it, I think, a lot more character. Yeah.
So I try and do it a bit of justice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, you ready? Right, I'll take it away. That's the bones of the song. Mr. Positive about our good friend.
It's been likened to Mr. Pharmacist by.
I don't get that, but yeah,
well,
people say
I
that.
kind of do and I don't.
It shares the word mystery in the title, and I can't see.
Yeah,
a bit, maybe it's a bit of a bouncy sort of
chords
song,
aren't the same, are they?
No. I used to be able to play Mr. Pharmacist, but I've forgotten the chords.
I knew the song, but I didn't know much of it. I don't like the Fall. Marquis Smith, I think he's one of the few artists that's got a worse voice than me, along with Ian Brown.
God rest his soul.
Well, not a very generous man by all accounts.
No, I read his book. I wasn't keen on him.
But yeah,
anyway.
We shan't dwell.
No.
I love playing that song live. I think it's amazing. I love David's vocals on it. I think the song suits him perfectly. Alyssa came in, she's interpreted the song excellently. One of her gifts is she only has to listen to our song once. I can remember I said, right, The World's Gone Mad was the song that we played to her first. She streamed it because we'd already released that. And she goes, yeah, I like it, I want to come and jam you guys. So we played it to her once, says, right, you're not going to be able to do anything on it yet, just want to hear it a few more times at least. She went, no, I'm good, just play it, just go. And she'd got it off to a T. It was amazing. We kept making mistakes because we were so awestruck by the drums. It was the first time we'd heard our songs with a genuine drummer, and it just gave them an extra dimension. It was incredible, and we were just like, ooh.
I like it. It's a bouncy kind of song. It's sort of that it's like a, it's kind of catchy, bouncy feel.
I like it because some of our material could be construed as being a little bit negative. This song's not. It's up. It's positive. It's in praise of a friend of ours. And on the album, it's my favourite track. And I think it could have got some traction if we were able to get it out there and get people listening to it. But it's jungle out there.
Yeah, it is. A musical jungle.
Now we close the album with another old song, Black Dog.
Yeah.
Again, when did we write that?
It was an early one, wasn't it? Second, third, fourth
Another
song.
early one. I would say that's another late 2019 song.
Yeah, it's an early one. Yeah, it's got to be about, I think it's the second, third, fourth songs around there, isn't it?
It was
Easily
second.
early
I
one.
think it was Girls, Luxor,
Yeah.
Black Dog.
Black Dog, yeah, about third song we did.
I think it was probably about the third
And
song
it's,
we wrote. Again, it's obvious what the song's about. The song's about mental health issues, something that me and David have both suffered from. I think it's good to maybe express how that makes you feel, because it's one of the last taboo subjects. But again, I said to David, obviously, you know, this is going to have to be distressed, stretched out, very dark. And again, I think you encapsulate the mood perfect there.
Yeah. It's odd because in guitar wise, it's not a lot of sad songs. The cliche is minor chords, but this doesn't. It's major chords. It's just I don't know why. I just thought F, and I just sort of go up as 70. Sorry, F, just F sharp. Very, very melancholy, but major chords, and then for the chorus.
And then on top of that, we had those really heavy full bowed drums.
Yeah,
That just sort of crashed down on top of it.
And the chorus, I thought, I don't know, just is a bit chaotic. So do you want to strap your bass on? Do you want to we'll do a bit of the verse?
So we'll do the verse and the chorus.
You okay? You're in the right setting.
I think so.
You're not in wah wah.
No.
No, okay. So well, we started off with a bit of a wah wah thing. So I can't do it in a minute. And then we just go into this. Back to your verse.
Sorry,
I'd
unplugged my wireless.
We were unplugged. Cool Rekz unplugged. Very quiet gig, that one. But no, it's simple. It's four basic chords. Then you got your bridge, but it's just about, you know, trying to get that vibe. And it's strange, like I say, there's no minor. No, there is a minor chord on the bridge, but it's major chords. But when you roughen the guitar up, you can make them sound a bit despairing and a bit, which was the vibe of that song. But it was one of the early ones, like I say, third. We're much more sophisticated now. We like to think. Well, one day we will be.
So that closes the album out, David. I think I've already asked you this question, but now we've spoken about the songs, maybe I should ask you again. Do you think the right 10 songs made it? Can you make a case for other songs to be on there?
Possibly.
I mean, if you think about it from a point of view, you're only going to write one album. You're only going to have one. This is your one and only album. Give us your 10 best, and away you go.
I think.
How many of this album's tracks would be on there? Because Paul, when he summoned us to that last-minute meeting, and I said, "What's going to go down here?" He said the album played like a greatest hits album, which I think was a really good compliment, and I thought that was a good thing. I don't.
It's interesting.
It's almost as if I said, "Well, there's too many good songs on there." Well, It's a nice thing to
He
say. I don't
was-
know. I'm not quite sure whether I understood what Paul was saying.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing him shortly.
He was concerned about the length of it, wasn't he? He felt maybe over long, which I can understand. There was a couple of tracks, the 2 tracks we left off, which we put in the bag for the next album. I thought were really good tracks. I think maybe with hindsight, having them both on the album was probably maybe been a bit much. But I think the one track I won't mention the name of it because that's for the next album. But it's a very ambient kind of instrumentally. There's some lyrics on it. It's very sparse, and Paul's thinking, would that be too much? And I see where he's coming from, but like I say, I think I think the album, I like the album. I think it's really good as what we've done. He's done a good selection and it's good first album. The greatest hits phrase he uses is a good compliment, I think, because it's packed full of catchy songs. And I think packing an album full of catchy songs, or trying to, is dangerous, because you can end up with each song sounding the same, and we haven't done that. I think we've got different, but they are catchy in all their own ways. And I think the 2 we've left off, I think are great starting points for the next next record, or record album, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think it's all good. It's good to go, and it's out there. And this is the baby. Buy it, buy it. Oops, sorry. So yeah, there we go.
We do things right here in Cool Rekz.
We do.
The quality of this recording is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you a few more questions before we finish. We're just over an hour. Let's go for an hour and 15.
Okay.
So that gives us another 9 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the songwriting process. Let's talk about the songwriting partnerships. If you look historically, they talk about these great songwriting partnerships: Jagger, Richards, Lennon, McCartney. You've read an awful lot more musical biographies than I have. Certainly with Lennon and McCartney, there was this adversarial thing going on. And I think to a large extent there was also with Richards and Jagger, although I thought Richards and Jagger were there was less ego involved with those two. I think with Lennon and McCartney, certainly listening to what McCartney's got to say now, it was, he's written a couple of good songs. I think their partnership was similar to ours in as much as one of us would be the originator of the music, and the other person would come along and sort of say, right, okay, well, let's do this and let's do that. I think their attitude was, well, he's written 2 good songs there, so I've got to write 2 good songs. Whereas I think we've got 2 really good songs there, and that's all there is to it.
I mean,
now, I think that probably comes from the fact that we've known each other for 50 years. And the big difference with us and all other bands, and I'm by no means bracketing us with any of those acts, of course, but they met when they were young, and they became friends or enemies during the course of the next 20, 30 years whilst they were in the band. We've been mates for 50 years, and then we started the band. There's no egos involved. We're not looking over our shoulders about one of us getting stabbed in the back or anything like that. And that leaves us to concentrate fully on writing songs. I think we've got a very good partnership, but I presume you do as well.
Absolutely.
What do you think is responsible for that? Is it the fact we've known each other for that long? Is it the fact that we've clicked musically, that we like roughly the same kind of music? What is it?
I think the thing is, I've been strumming a guitar for 30 odd years, but doing songs, I'm as new to doing songs as you are. I apart from a few joke attempts a few years ago, the word joke attempt, I'd never try and write songs. I wouldn't have dreamt of it. If somebody said to me when I was 25, 30, right, you're going to try and write a song today, I'd just laugh. What are you on about? I have no idea. I've no idea how to write a song. I've no idea. I can strum chords, go up and down the fretboard, but I can't. And in some ways, that's where our partnership's unique is. I can only class myself as writing half a song, as in lyrically. I could do it. I could sit down, but I can't put the thoughts into lyrics like you can. And I feel my strength is the music, just doing, particularly the guitar chords. Yeah, there's piano and bass as well, but it's the lyrics particularly. I haven't got that brain. I could try if somebody put a gun to me and said, write a complete song, music and lyrics. I could
think
do
it's
it.
about momentum. It's about momentum, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because once I realised I could get a tune out of the bass, I was just on it morning, noon, and night.
You've got the lyric.
And then when I wrote some music, I thought I can do it. This is a song. I've written a song.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. I mean, I've always said I've got about as much art in me as a house brick. But since then, I've gained this sense of an art. I mean, I tend to do most of the artwork for us. And I've got a sister and we've got a friend that are very good, talented artists, and they've done some of our covers for us. So, but I say, look, this is what I'm looking for, this kind of thing, and then they go out and do it. And it's amazed me how I've sort of garnered this ability to be able to express this from an art point of view. And I enjoy that part of it just as much as the musical side of it. I think it's amazing.
That's good, because art's a good release, good therapy. You know, no one has to be.
So you think it's the fact that we've known each other all these years?
Yeah. Relax with each other, and I think as well, like I say, we've come to doing songs at the same time. I was naive as you about writing songs. Yeah, I played songs. Anyway, it's only a few years ago I played complete songs. Like I said, I picked up and strummed guitars for 35 years, but I'd just been, that's all I was doing, trying riffs, faffing about, not doing complete songs till about, like I said, whenever it was I started doing, like, 7-8 years ago. Yeah, there was the church thing, but it was music I didn't really know very well, and it was just bluffing your way through it. Doing this properly, I'm new to it like you. I think it's like learning at the same time and the same rate. But why I think we work is because there's that bit of a demarcation. You definitely lyrics, and you're now doing music. My comfort zone is the music. I can't start with a blank sheet of paper. I like to have some lyrics to work with, and I've immediately got right. What's the thinking, the feel of this? Like I read the lyrics, I think, yeah, is it happy, go lucky, romantic, dark, depression? I've got that in front of me, and then I think, right, that gives me something to like work on here or whatever it is, and generate from there. And the lyrics, I can. I mean, when you give me a sheet of lyrics, I've no idea what speed you want them at. Yeah, we might have that conversation, like, but I can just like kind of do it through my head. But someone chucks, like I said before, someone chucks a complete blank sheet of paper, write a complete song, I'll be a bit.
Well, I would. I mean, I've said if someone was going to do to us what they did to Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, shove them in a room. Take us right. We're going to shove you in a room, and you're not allowed out there till you've written 2 songs. I'm fairly confident we'd be out there in a few hours.
Yeah.
But if they chucked us in there and said, right, we want 2 songs. One's about trains, and the other one's about steam engines.
Yeah. No.
We'd still be in there now. Lyrically, I would. Steam engines are good because they go on track. That's not the way I write lyrics.
No.
I create, and a lot of the time, I mean, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, that song's about me. You've written that about me." 9 times out of 100, that is not the case.
No.
What I do, a lot of the time, it's completely made up. I will start off with an idea, like somebody's angry. Okay, what's he angry about? Somebody's let him down. What's he been let down? They owe him some money and he's not paying them back, and so he gets really angry and he decides, what's he going to decide to do? He's going to go around the house and have a go at them. So he goes around the house and has a go at them. What happens? Well, when he gets there, they're not there. And I'm giving myself options all the time. Where do I go here? Where do I go there? And a lot of the time is I'll attach the meaning to a song after I've written it.
Yeah.
You know, so people say, you wrote that about me, didn't you? No, I didn't.
We have written one song about a person, haven't we? Ish.
But you know, that's just the way it is. Options are a good thing. So, yeah. That is an interesting point.
I think songwriting, people have tried to analyse the process, haven't they, of it, and make it into a science or an academic subject. I don't think you can. I think it's like a lot of these arty things. You can't. Yeah, it's taught in, obviously music's taught in schools, art's taught in schools. I'm sounding really pretentious as if I'm an expert, which I'm not. You can't always say how you come up. You can't sort of have a textbook, buy a textbook, and then you're going to make you write a song the next day reading it. It don't work like that. I think the only thing I would say is application. You got to want to put the effort in, but you can put all the effort in the world, and you won't come up with anything sometimes. And another day it's weird. It's a random thing comes to you. It just comes
Songwriting really is alchemy, isn't it?
It's like poems. It's like writing poems.
You can do the same thing on one song and it sounds brilliant. You try the same method as another song, it just doesn't work.
No.
I think the majority of what I've learned because I was completely ignorant.
Sometimes
so many people say, well, what you do, why have you got all those pedals? You play a bass. Why are you doing that? Why are you trying to play the lead? Now, if they say you get coached bad habits. If I wasn't self-taught on the bass like I am, if I'd have gone to get lessons, I am pretty sure I wouldn't have arrived at some of the song ideas I've arrived at. I think ignorance is bliss sometimes.
You're right. On the music side, you write a lot of stuff by just faffing about, coming up. You just pick your guitar one day. I've done the same. Not even to having a set of lyrics in front of me. I'll just, that riff sounds like I did the other day, and I'll record it on my phone. May use it, may not. And you're just faffing about. And that's where I think I was out for 25 years in my guitar playing. I was just doing that all the time. And like I said, I hit that day, whatever it was, 7-8 years. I thought, well, what am I doing here? What am I going to do with this guitar? I'll just sell all your guitars and give up, or do something with it. And that's why I thought, well, let's try and play complete songs through properly. Pop songs. I don't mean stuff in churches and that, because that's different. But try and do something with this, take it somewhere. I don't mean as in being pretentious and thinking you're going to be a star or something, but maybe to a point where you can play to family or possibly in an open mic or a pub. And then once you've got that, it took me on to do stuff like this. But it's the application you need. You've got to focus on it, put your mind to it. And I think maybe 20, 25 years ago, I wasn't focused enough on it to want to do it. I didn't see where it would go, because I didn't have, back then, who did I know was going to be in a band? I did know a couple of people, but I wasn't really in a state to go in their band. I think I couldn't have joined an existing band when in my 20s. I mean, there was thinking back, there was an opportunity with some friends that ran a synth band, and I talked to them, and I jammed along with them, but
wouldn't have worked. You're a punk rocker, Dave.
Well, it wasn't that. I wasn't confident enough. I wasn't confident from me playing. I couldn't. It just was all I could do was tinkle along to their. They were a really good band, but I just tinkled along and accompanied them. But there's never going to be anything. I think what's up with this, we both, like I say, both started out from day one, at the beginning. Both started from the start. I'm a bit stupid, but and learned together how to do it.
Okay, well, I think we should wrap this up. I mean, this was supposed to be centred on you.
No, I don't know if it should be centred on me.
So, going to end with some quick questions.
Okay.
You can only pick one.
Yeah.
You can't say neither or both.
Right.
You've got to pick one.
Okay.
But you know me, I never like to put friends in difficult situations.
No, of course not.
So
Absolutely.
Make it nice and easy. Right, okay. Y fronts or boxer shorts?
Boxer shorts.
Sudan or Bangladesh?
I've never been to either, but I'll go for Bangladesh. You're talking about restaurants?
Blancmange or soup?
Soup. Were they bands?
Nightclub or country pub?
Oh, now country pub. Might not have been 30 years ago.
Pyjamas or naked?
Naked. You talking about me? Or somebody else?
Moving swiftly on. A book or a Kindle?
Oh, now Kindle, because I'm going to find room to store books. Put them on my Kindle. That's saying it.
Stratocaster or Les Paul?
Oh, Les Paul, definitely. Stratocasters. There's too many dodgy guitarists that play Stratocasters for me. I used to, funny enough, one of my first ones was a Stratocaster copy, not a real one. But no, Les Paul now. Well, neither actually. The Tele, well, this isn't a Tele, but the Telecaster's my favourite.
Wembley Stadium, or that stadium's name I can't remember, in Rio de Janeiro.
The Maracana.
The Maracana,
Well,
or Wembley Stadium?
I'll go Wembley Stadium. I've been there. I don't know the Maracana. I've never been in it.
Okay, it's been great.
Yeah.
My battery's about to go.
Yeah.
So
far.
we'll have to bring that to an end.
Yeah.
David, thank you ever
Thank
so
you very much, sir.
being the first person in
Cool Rekz.
in this interview series.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. I'll be carrying out an interview with our producer coming up. There'll also be an interview based on our drummer Alicia, and some various other things. Just the last thing to say is, album is released February the 18th. We are Cool Rekz. The album is The World's Gone Mad, releasing on Flaunt It Records in all good download stores. There'll also be merchandise available, t-shirts, badges, CD clocks. We've also got, as David's plugged a few times, some CDs as well for some of the traditionalists out there. And we'll wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Maybe
Merry
there'll be another
Christmas.
video before
Peace and love.
Christmas comes, but if not, we'll see you in the new year. And thanks for watching. Please, please, please like and subscribe. You'll see we haven't got many. You've got to start somewhere. Really appreciate your support. So give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll try and pay you back with some interesting, better quality content. And hopefully we'll see you from a stage sometime soon.
We can try and get a gig going. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.